Hey, what's up, y'all? And we're back with another preview and prediction video. So today we're gonna do the Utah Utes. Now, of course, last year yes was a disappointing season for Utah. 8-4 in the regular season. Before losing to Northwestern in their bowl game to finish at 8-5. And then in the regular season, they did also lose to Oregon State, Oregon, Washington, and Arizona. So, and then their best wins were against USC and UCLA. So, anyway, so yeah, and your offense was really bad last year. I mean, it wasn't Iowa bad, but it was bad. So, mostly because you didn't have Cam Rising. So, but anyway, so there was a couple of games where you couldn't even get out of the single digits. A lot of 6 or 7 point games for you. So yeah, you had several games where you struggled to even get to 20. So, and then you also had a game like Arizona State where you scored 55 points. So yeah, it was the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So, but anyway, although the offense did seem to get better in the second half of the season. So, but anyway, so it's only 23 points per game and about 350 yards per game. So, now of course your quarterbacks last year were terrible. You had Bryson Barnes, who had like 1,500 yards and like 6.5 yards per attempt, and like, is it like 58% completion percentage, and 12 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And you have Nate Johnson, who completed like 54% of his passes. He had about 7 yards per attempt and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But anyway, but both of those guys have since hit the transfer portal. So, and now Cameron Rising is back healthy again. So yeah, he looks to be back. So, I mean, he did play in the spring game. Yes, he looked good in the spring game. So, but anyway, so yeah, in 2022, Rising at like 3,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, 8 yards per attempt, completed 65% of his passes. So, I mean, so obviously getting Rising back is huge. So, uh, anyway, and then looking at your running back situation, uh, you did have Jaquindon Johnson hit the transfer portal. I think he transferred to Arkansas. I guess he was your leading running back with almost 800 yards. But you do bring back Jalen Glover, who was your RB2, and also Micah Bernard, who didn't do much last year. I guess he was injured. But anyway, but in 2022, he had 500 rushing yards. So, and then you do also get Anthony Woods from the transfer portal from Idaho. You know, it's Idaho, but he did have 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns last year at Idaho. So, okay, so anyway, so now looking at your wide receivers, yes, you do lose your leading receiver, Devon Vele, and also you also do lose Mikey Matthews, but you do bring back Money Parks and Munir McLean. So, and from the transfer portal, you did also add Dorian Singer, who didn't do much at Southern Cal last year because he was just overshadowed by so many great receivers at USC. But he did have over 1,000 receiving yards at Arizona in 2022. So he'll be easily the best receiver on the team. So, and then you did also get Damian Alford from Syracuse. Yes, he was the leading receiver at Syracuse. He had like 600 yards. I mean, which that would be better than any receiver that you had last year. So, and then let's see, and then your tight ends, yes, were criminally underused. You did have Thomas Yasman, and I mean, I expected a lot out of him last year. Yes, like 300 receiving yards, but I mean the guy was a beast. You know, whenever he did get that ball, I mean at that really big catch and run for a touchdown in the Pac-12 championship against USC. So, but anyway, but he's gone to the NFL now. But you do bring in a transfer, Carson Ryan from UCLA. So, and I do know that. Anyway, I guess that that Cam Rising used the tight ends a lot. So, but anyway, so now so yes, I do expect a huge improvement out of this offense. I mean, in 2022 when Rising was still playing, you had like 38 points per game and 466 yards per game. So expect it to look more like that. So. anyway, so now let's take a look at your defense. Now last year your defense allowed 19 points per game and 307 yards per game. So that's really good. So anyway, now they do lose a few starters and key contributors from last year. I mean, especially in the secondary. So anyway, so you did lose safeties, Cole Bishop, and also Sion Vaki, and I mean, Vaki was all over the field. I mean, he played safety, but he also played running back and wide receiver. So, and then you do lose your cornerbacks, Travis Burrowton and Miles Battle. But you do bring back a cornerback, Zamaya Vaughn and Teo Johnson. So, and then, but you did grab some more from the transfer portal. Yes, you did get cornerbacks. You get Kenyon Johnson and from Georgia Tech, and Cameron Calhoun from Michigan, and also a safety, Alakai Gilman from Stanford. And anyway, so I mean, you're trying, but secondary is really a big concern. So anyway, so maybe your passing defense probably won't be as good, but you should still be stout against the run, because most of your front seven does return. But you do lose defensive end Jonah Ellis, who had 12 sacks last year. But anyway, and then so then you do bring back your linebackers, Lamani, Damani, and Karen Reed, and Lander Barton. So, and then you do bring back some defensive ends, Van Filliger and Connor O'Toole, and both of them combined for 7.5 sacks last year. And then you do bring back defensive tackles, Keanu Tanu Vasu, and Junior Fatuna, and Alaiki Fahahi. Anyway, yeah. So let's see. And then in the transfer portal, you did also grab a defensive end, Paul Fitzgerald from Utah State. So, and he had 8 sacks last year, so maybe he's kind of like dollar store Micah Ellis. But anyway, yeah. Now, how about we take a look at your schedule now? So anyway, so you start out with Southern Utah. I mean, you should just absolutely obliterate them. And then next, you do play Baylor, and yes, and yes, you went to Baylor last year and beat them. Of course, Baylor was terrible last year. Probably going to be terrible again this year. So yes, think you're going to beat Baylor. And yeah, I think this game actually counts as a non-conference game, even though they're both in the same conference. So they're still letting them finish their home and home non-con series. So, but anyway, and then after that, you do play at Utah State, and yeah, and yes, you should beat Utah State pretty easily. I mean, you should curb stomp them, even though you have to play them there. But I guess that could be a little bit of a trap game, because next week you do have to play at Oklahoma State. And yeah, I do think Oklahoma State is going to be really good again this year. I mean, they did bring back their running back, Ollie Gordon. Yep, the best running back in college football last year. So, but anyway, so yes, I do have you losing this game on the road at Oklahoma State. But yeah, it's a very interesting matchup here because of the two coaches, is Kyle Whittingham at Utah and Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. Both been coaching at their schools for a really long time. So yeah, I don't think anyone at the Power Five besides Kirk Ferentz at Iowa has been at their respective schools for this long. So, but anyway, so yeah, so they've both been coaching for the same number of years, and their records are also both very close. So, but anyways, how about we move on to the next week? You do play Arizona. Yes, now I know that you got destroyed on the road at Arizona last year, but you do get them at home this year, and I mean, you're gonna be a way better team than you were last year. Arizona State loses their coach, Jed Fisk, who left to go to Washington. But anyway, yes, and they did hire the coach from Fresno State, but no, first year with a new coaching staff. So I would have to give the advantage to Utah in this one. So I'm giving you that one as a win. And that takes you into your bye week. And then you come out of that and you play at Arizona State on a Friday night. I know that this game is on a Friday night, but I mean, Arizona State is just so terrible. I mean, you beat them 55-3 last year. I would expect you to do something similar. And then after that, you do play TCU. It's now TCU, probably the worst defending national runner-up of all time. 5-7 last year, so they're in a rebuilding mode. So that should be a win. And after that, you do play at Houston. And I mean, Houston was bad last year. I mean, they're still trying to adjust to their Power 4 status. So I think that's a win. And after that, you get your second bye week. And then coming out of that, you do play BYU at home. Now, this is a big rivalry game, but I don't think BYU is going to be any good this year. So I think that's still a win. And then at Colorado, I did my Colorado preview video already. So you already know that I have you beating Colorado. And then after that, you do play Iowa State. And yeah, I know it's hard to win at Iowa State, but this one you play at home. So yeah, I think this is a win. And then you do finish things out at UCF. Yes, on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And yes, right now you're sitting at 10-1. But I think that you go on the road and you get upset by UCF. So, I mean, they did get KJ Jefferson from Arkansas at quarterback. So, yeah, I do have you dropping that last game. So, all right. So anyway, so that does put you at 10-2 and 7-2 in the Big 12, and that gives you a good chance of getting into the Pac-12. The Big 12 title game, which also gives you a very good shot to make the 12-team playoff. So, but anyway, so let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Give me your record prediction for Utah. And thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all again next time.